Hits for the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Colors, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, today we are going to talk about being the number one guy, or the number one girl, or the number one this, the number one that. The king of this, the king of that, whichever way it wants to go, right? I mean, let's just go with that. You know what I mean? With whatever the case may be, right? As I've stated on this channel before, guys, there's things there's just things I don't get into, and I don't like to get into them. No disrespect towards anybody that feels that we got to go down a list of numbers and who's the number one this, who's the number one that, or who's the best of this and the best of that. Like, I mean, I've always looked at things, look, it's a thing, or any kind of representation. I feel that you know, that by me doing what I'm doing, I'm already representing it. I don't have to fall into the whatever people feel I need to do. I don't need to fall into the cookie cutter thing of what, you know, hey, well, you know, if you're Latino, you should be speaking Spanish and throw some Spanish in there so people can, hey, by me doing what I'm doing, I'm already representing. That's just what it is. I mean, you're not going to change your race at the end of the day. So I don't go with that kind of stuff. I also don't agree with, and again, I've stated that before, I don't agree with, for example, there's, let's just, to not bring anybody up, let's just say, again, it's always deals with music, guys. This is, originally Two-Face Entertainment is a independent record label, right? So we deal with music stuff here. So let's just say that there's Lemon Records, right? Or, you know, whatever. Okay, Lemon Records. Let's just go with that. Okay, so I got all these artists under, you know, these artists are under Lemon Records. Okay, but then comes a Latino comes into it. Okay, well, you're not, you know, you're Lemon Records, Lemon Latino Records. You know, why can't it just be Lemon Records? You know, that's just how I see things. I mean, it's just, why change the title to make it that? I mean, it can't, you know, it's like, okay, you can play here, but you can't play in my spot. You got to play over there. It's like, no, if we're all going to play, we're going to play this together. So anyhow, let me get on to what I'm getting into here. So the thing about it is being number one, being the best, being this and this and that. We always fall into this competitive thing that just, it's just a sign that's going to bring havoc, going to bring problems, going to start issues. It's just you're lighting a fuse to something that's gonna bring problems to you by doing that kind of stuff. In my opinion, by doing that, because somebody's gonna strive for that position, that so-called position that we just put it in our heads that, oh well, this is, you know, this is the number one thing. It's like, how many times do people say, oh, that's the number one song in the country right now, you know, and I'm like, I don't really hear the you know, I don't see where it's really coming from. That's due to the fact that people are feeding you this stuff. They continually feed you and feed you and feed you this stuff that, this is what it is. This is the latest thing. This is this is the number one thing. This is what you're supposed to listen to. This is the epitome of everything at this point in time. You know what, guys? Those things are those things are limited. Those things are just problematic. I look at things as, for example, again here at Two Face Entertainment. Again, this started off as a independent record label, and it still is. And I brought it into this where we are now at Two Face Entertainment Podcast and so on and so forth. And we are growing. There's going to be some other stuff coming up, but enough with the shameless plug. But the thing is, I don't strive to be the number one thing. I don't strive to be like, hey, I'm the king of my area, or the king of whatever. I don't tend to do that, and I'm going to tell you why. You know why? Because I strive for longevity. I strive for longevity. I don't care what anybody else's opinion is. You know, I've seen people put these lists up as far as even in the music stuff, like independently music stuff. Oh, so-and-so, so-and-so, I believe that so-and-so is this and this and that. If you really look at the statistics, some of those people have not put in the same amount of work I've seen other people put. And sometimes including myself. I don't see those people put in more work than I have or made the moves that I did. But hey, that's beside the point. So I don't feed into it. I'm not going to get into it and sit there and argue with somebody who wants to have an opinion about something and just, make a number one list or the king of. I just don't follow through that. I just don't play well with others, I guess, in that sense. When it comes to that, I believe that we should all strive for longevity. Being united, it's a hard thing because that also too is problematic. There's people that strive for that position because at the end of the day, to come united, there's always has to be somebody leading. So so the way I see it, do what you got to do, play your position well, play it right, and you're gonna be all right. And let so and so play his position right, he or she, and so on and so forth. And maybe we'll get to where we need to get to, but to throw in a list, a number one list, to throw in a position like that, you're throwing a stick through our spokes here. It's bound to just get us in a wreck. There's envy, there's jealousy. People call it hating now, but it's jealousy, right? And not everybody wants to see everybody win. Some of us don't want to. They don't want to see us win. They don't want to see whatever the case may be. Do I support certain channels? Do I support some of the channels in my area? Of course I do. Yes, I do. Have I met these people? You know what I mean? Do I have love and respect for them? Of course I do. And people outside my area as well that I've met in person. I have respect for everybody that I've met and I've run across. And I don't put them in any kind of category for that matter. They're my friends, and then that's it. And I don't put them in a category. I don't put them as like, oh well, that's the person doing such and such, and and hold them to a higher regard to put somebody else kind of down. It's like, no, because it's like anything in this world, you could work somewhere and the supervisor, and I've had this happen to me, the supervisor there, he's just a complete jerk about things, right? Bad management will lead into a bad company, Unfortunately, the companies will fold, and then you move on to the next job or whatever. It's happened to me before back in the day, and you end up working with the guy that was a supervisor. Now he's a regular employee just like you. So those kind of things of like, oh well, I'm empowered or whatever. Think about it this way, guys. It's only 15 minutes of fame for that matter. The thing is, the way to avoid that is strive for longevity. Don't worry about what the next person thinks, whether you're male or female. Don't worry about what they think. Don't worry about what position they're trying to put you in. I've gone to places where people say, "Hey, boss man, you're the man, bro. You've done so much and yada 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 as far as the music stuff or whatever." I tend to shy away from that. You know what? I just do what I love, and then that's it. I appreciate that people love it, and I like that. Thank you. But at the end of the day, we strive for more for ourselves. I'm not doing it to impress anybody. I'm doing it simply because I love it. I'm not doing it for just get the number one position. For people to admire me, like, oh my God, you the guy that did this and this and that, I don't do it for those reasons. I do it because I love it. That's just the bottom line. I don't want to sit there and be like, well, I'm the best one in my area or whatever the case may be. I've never felt that way about it. Even and you know what, guys? I heard somebody say one time when somebody acts up and they start acting kind of like big headed about things, and I've heard them be told, "You must have never had nothing nice in your life, right?" And it kind of shows, and I understand that, and that is absolutely correct. There, at least in my book, it is. I've driven the nicest cars. I've driven, some nice vehicles. I've had, whatever I had. But one thing about it, I was still the same person. I didn't change of who I was. And there's people that today that will vouch for that, because I've never worried about little things like that. I never worried about, well, this is only for us right here, and you can be part of this. It's like, hey man, like, so what? As long as we play our position, as long as we do what we love, and we're doing what brings joy to us, whether it's any kind of peace, any kind of joy, whatever it brings to you, and you're doing it, keep doing it. But once you start doing it to compete, for example, other than sportsmanship, in other words, right? But once you start doing stuff like that to compete, it's gonna end. It's not gonna end well. That's just a fact. It's not going to end well. And I speak of it from experience. I've seen it happen time and time again. And it's the same old song, guys. It's the same old song. Like when I start seeing that, I've seen it in just different things. I will say I've seen it in different things. When I've seen people compete against each other, keeping up with the Joneses kind of deal. I have the better car. My rims are better than yours. My paint job is better than this, and your paint job is whatever. Those things are irrelevant. At the end of the day, there should be just about the person himself, and then that's it. The whatever you hold in position, whatever you have doesn't speak for you. You speak for yourself. Such as, for example, the example here at Two Face Entertainment again. People have said, "Oh, well, I've had the good and the bad come through, and I've had the good, the bad say what they say." I'm not gonna get into that part, but I don't pay them no mind, because I've also had the good saying, "You know what, man, you've done this and this, etc., etc., etc." Cool, I accept it. Thank you. But that doesn't define who I am. My thing is the reason I'm glad that those people really enjoy it, really love it, because for the fact of the matter, that's my reason for doing it, right? Because I love it, because I want to give you something good. I want to give you a good product. I want to give you a good song. I want to give you a good album. Whatever the case may be, a good documentary film or whatever, something that you're going to be able to remember and say, hey, you know what, that was pretty good. Or, hey, whatever. It's not for everybody all the time, let's be fair about that. But that's where it ends. I'm not doing it to be the best in my area. I'm not doing it to be the king of my area. And I've had that happen. What do you think? I'm the king of, so at the end of the day, that's not for us to say. That's not for us to call it. And sometimes it's kind of pushed upon people. Like, what do you guys think? You know, you guys think that this guy... Half of these people haven't even heard of these guys you're trying to push. Or you're trying to push yourself, for that matter. It's just... You know what, man? Let me bring you guys a little bit of history. Those of you guys that may not know. Two Face Entertainment's been around since 1999. I've never strived to be number one. Never strived to be anything like that. We've gone through changes. We've gone through overhauls. Brought in artists, got rid of artists. Artists left, so on and so forth. God be with them. Right? But yeah, we're still here. We are still in the music. If you look us up, we're still in the music scene. And we're here on video. Be it YouTube, be it Rumble. Right? Be it Instagram, be it, Facebook, so on and so forth, social media. We're still here. Because we push. We push to keep things going. We're striving for longevity here, guys. This is not just a like, hey, I'm going because I'm going to be number one. Okay, what happens when you get to number one? Somebody eventually at some point is going to kick you down. Then what? So don't worry about that. Keep moving forward. Right? Keep moving forward. Do what you do. And strive for longevity. With that, this is Two Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, signing out.
Haters shake the fist, suckers preaching me rolling. Why you so mad? Why you so serious? You're in my rear view like the slow and delirious. Keep on mashing, getting plenty action. The home of the G's and pimps, I love it with a passion. Throw it up, it's California, where the sun lays to rest like every day. The home of the color rag, swap meets and bangers. Chuck Taylor's, Lolos, and them real dope slangers. This is reality, it's where I stay. Along the Pacific in the state of CA. Golden State, from Frisco to Compton and back to Central Cali where the party keeps rocking. It's a California state of mind, and you can't be mad, that's just how we ride. Golden State.
But it's really for me. I'm not saying that I'm greedy, but hip-hop is needy, so what the hell do you expect from me? It's the passion, I finally understand it. I'm hiding in the trees like a male praying mantis, searching for my prey. God, please come and bless me, help relieve my stress so I don't worry about death. Never said I was leaving, but dreaming on like Steven. Fallen angel, I'm Zeppelin, not ready for heaven. So please tell me, is there another way? So I can look up in the sky and say thank you for these better days.
1, 2, Vegas coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your doors. 5, 6, hip hop with a twist. 7, 8, please don't hate. 1, 2, Vegas coming.